Mary kneels before the block, holding her rosary, dressed in crimson, the color of martyrdom. Her servants weep. The crowd is silent on a cold winter morning in Fotheringhay Castle, Northamptonshire, England. Her last words: "Into thy hands, O Lord, I commend my spirit." She forgives her executioner, then warns him that his act will not cleanse his soul. The axe rises. The first blow fails. The second ends it. A third severs the head completely. The executioner lifts it high and cries, "God save the Queen." But which one? Because for over 2 decades, England had been divided between 2 queens and 2 versions of destiny. Crowned Queen of Scots at just 6 days old, Mary's destiny began with death. Born on December 8, 1542, at Linlithgow Palace, she entered the world as her father, King James V, was leaving it. An infant queen, fragile, yet already burdened with a crown. At age 15, she married Francis, the French Dauphin, for their families wanted to cement a powerful alliance between Scotland and France. In 1559, Francis became King Francis II, making Mary both Queen of France and Scotland. But come 1561, Francis unexpectedly died, and the young widow returned to a Scotland now ruled by Protestant reformers. She was Catholic. They were not. From the moment she set foot on Scottish soil, her reign was a political powder keg. In 1565, Mary married her cousin Henry Stuart, Lord Darnley, a move that would unite 2 royal bloodlines with claims to the English throne. But a decision that would prove to be truly unwise on Mary's part. The marriage soured quickly. Although handsome, Darnley was arrogant, jealous, and ambitious. And it didn't take time to show. In March 1566, Mary's secretary and confidant, David Rizzio, was murdered before her eyes, stabbed over 50 times by Darnley's men, Protestant lords, inside Holyrood Palace. The death of Rizzio led to the breakdown of their marriage. A year later, in February 1567, after recovering from an illness, Darnley was found dead, apparently smothered, his house blown up at Kirko Field. There were no visible marks of strangulation or violence on the body. Suspicion immediately fell on James Hepburn, Earl of Bothwell, and on Mary herself. Between 21st and 23rd April 1567, Mary visited her son at Stirling for the last time. On her way back to Edinburgh on the 24th of April, Mary was abducted, willingly or not, by Lord Bothwell and his men and taken to Dunbar Castle, where he may have taken advantage of her. When Mary married Bothwell just 3 months after Darnley's death on May 15, 1967, the Scottish nobility revolted. They captured her, forced her to abdicate in favor of her infant son, James VI, and imprisoned her in Loch Leven Castle, while Bothwell was driven into exile. He was then imprisoned in Denmark, became insane, and would die years later in 1578. The following year, in 1568, Mary escaped. But her forces were defeated at the Battle of Langside. She fled across the border into England, seeking refuge from her cousin, Queen Elizabeth I, a decision that would lead to her never seeing freedom again. Elizabeth welcomed Mary not as a guest, but as a prisoner. For 19 years, she was shuttled between castles, Tutbury, Chartley, Fotheringhay. while Europe watched two queens play a deadly waiting game. Still, plots rose in Mary's name. The Ridolfi Plot, 1571. The Throckmorton Plot, 1583. And finally, the one that sealed her fate, the Babington Plot, 1586. Led by Anthony Babington, the conspirators planned to assassinate Elizabeth and place Mary on the throne. Letters smuggled in beer barrels linked Mary directly to the plot. But what wasn't known, that Sir Francis Walsingham, Elizabeth's spy master, was reading every word. Was she complicit? Or was she desperate, lured into a trap she couldn't see? Either way, the result was the same. In October 1586, Mary was tried for treason at Fotheringhay Castle. She defended herself brilliantly, but her guilt had already been written. Her death was inevitable, a sentence masked as justice. Mary faced the scaffold with dignity, removing her black gown to reveal the crimson of Catholic martyrdom beneath. She declared her innocence and her faith before placing her neck on the block. 3 strikes later, the long rivalry between England's queens was over. When Elizabeth heard the news, she feigned outrage, claiming her secretary William Davison had sent the warrant without permission. But the world knew the truth. Mary's death wasn't an accident of politics. It was the conclusion of a rivalry between two women, trapped by power, faith, and fear. So what do you think? Was Mary, Queen of Scots, a victim of circumstance, or the author of her own downfall? Share your thoughts in the comments.